Despite calls to step in and shut them down, Ottawa's top doctor says she supports schools opening in the capital on Wednesday. In a statement sent out Sunday morning, Vera Etches says she's evaluated the evidence and feels a return to in-person learning is what's best for children, families, and the health of our city. The level of the COVID-19 Omicron variant in our community is very high, so the chances that students and education staff will encounter COVID-19 outside of school is increased, she wrote. The information we have from throughout the pandemic is that schools being open is not a key reason for making the pandemic spread worse. In Ottawa in December, with the Omicron variant circulating, the data showed the COVID-19 rates grew in the community much faster than in the school population. Many of the introductions of COVID-19 into schools were related to transmission from social and sports activities outside of school. It's a similar message to what she shared just before the Christmas break.
What I want to start with is thinking about how different this fall has been compared to most of the school year in 2020-21 when we had complete closure of schools for long periods. We were able to avoid that this fall. Certainly, though, it's been very hard on families because they have had the highest rates of COVID in the community in the 5 to 11-year-old age group. So they've had to have repeated testing, and there have been cohorts sent home and schools closed, and this is hard. The priority has been to keep schools open, to take this approach school by school, class by class. That's what we're planning for January. We're planning to be able to keep the schools open across the board and then react and act as early as we can where we need to.
For weeks now, Etches has been calling on Ottawa residents to put a pause on extracurricular activities and to no longer attend or participate in indoor sports games or visit any indoor settings where there's a lot of people. Etches says if schools were to close in the city, she feels it would have a more negative impact on the spread of COVID-19. If schools do not reopen, there is the potential that this could result in more indoor gatherings of children and more community transmission, as parents and caregivers may need to rely on others to watch their children for work or for their own mental health, says Etches, which we saw with previous COVID-19 waves.
The topic of whether or not schools should reopen for in-person learning this week has been widely up for debate, with the local medical community split on the idea. Some experts say it's crucial for kids to get back into the classroom so they have a sense of normalcy and routine and to protect their mental health. Others say it's just too risky with COVID-19 numbers in the province and city as high as they are.
On December 31st, a number of local teachers' unions wrote to Etches requesting that she take matters into her own hands and keep schools closed until a number of conditions could be met. They include giving staff and students access to N95 masks, prioritizing education workers and students over the age of 12 for booster shots, and giving students aged 5 to 11 access to their second dose of a COVID-19 vaccine. Etches says keeping schools closed until more shots get into arms isn't a realistic goal. With an 8-week interval between doses and 61% of children 5 to 11 immunized with one dose at this time, that timeline would mean too much missed school that causes known harm, she said. That said, I am working with the City of Ottawa's Emergency Operations Centre to ensure there is ongoing access for children and youth to receive first and second doses. As well, the team is working to create a way to focus on immunizing childcare and education staff with booster doses, while continuing to focus on increasing rates of vaccine coverage with booster doses in older adults. On the first day of 2022, Ontario broke a new single-day record for new infections with 18,445 new cases. That same day, Ottawa recorded close to 1,500 new cases. These numbers in reality are expected to be much higher as Omicron continues to spread at rates we've never seen before throughout this pandemic. Today we learned schools across Ontario will remain closed for at least 2 weeks as the province sees an increase in Omicron COVID-19 infections. Now, we still have not yet heard from Dr. Etches regarding her views on this decision. However, tomorrow she will be speaking at a joint press conference with Mayor Jim Watson. Charlie Cenac, UIN News, Ottawa.